Hi, my name is Susan Berkowitz. I have been a speech-language pathologist for almost 40 years. I've worked for all of that time with students with the greatest language and communication disorders. Speech-language pathologists who work with augmentative communication are not as common as one might hope. More and more speech pathologists are learning about augmentative communication, and it's being taught in graduate programs, but it's not a required ASHA course, and many people just don't learn about augmentative communication. Yet, there's no population you can work with as a speech-language pathologist that might not need augmentative communication, otherwise known as AAC, somewhere. I have worked for more than 40 years with kids who are nonverbal or minimally verbal, and so, in that time, I've learned a lot about augmentative communication as the field has grown and expanded and research has abounded. I try to make most of my augmentative communication resources from my Teachers Pay Teacher store with core vocabulary in mind. What we've learned over the years is that there is a core group of vocabulary words that we use most often to generate almost every sentence that we say. For children, toddler age, there are 25 words that they use for 96% of what they say. For adults, we use about 100 words for about 50% of what we say, and between 300 and 500 for 80% of what we say, and yet we know hundreds of thousands of words. Most of those words are words that aren't used very often. Those words are called fringe vocabulary, usually nouns, things that don't carry a lot of meaning, but we use often because they're important to us. My newest resource in my Teachers Pay Teacher store for augmentative communication is called 10 Weeks to Communicating with 40 Core Words. I took the DLM-40, which has been revised slightly, but was researched thoroughly by Dr. Karen Erickson and Dr. David Kopenauer at UNC Chapel Hill. I made one change in their 40 words, replacing make with have, something that my students use often. The activities for teaching use of core words in this resource are similar to my other activities and games for a Year of Core or Teach Me Core Words resources. I've attempted to provide both suggestions for using core words in everyday routines and activities, as well as activities to simulate other real-life activities that you may not have access to within your intervention setting or classroom. There are 4 target core words per week, not presented in the same word groups developed by the UNC Chapel Hill group. I've said a week. You might take a month. You might take longer. Use a pace that works for your students. Make sure that you are always presuming competence. Provide maximum opportunities for genuine communicating, and use the least intrusive cues and prompts possible. Consistent partner use of aided language stimulation is crucial. There are 4 words per week, and again, you're going to adjust this as needed for your altered interval to present to students with a different lesson plan, activity suggestion, or contextual ideas for each day of the week. The words are provided on large cards, approximately 4.5 by 3 inch for classroom use. I have them both in high contrast colors for students you might have who have vision impairments, as well as the standard white background with the black and white symbols. You can use these in a classroom communication board that you mount on the wall, or you can have them for use within small group activities as needed. Start always with the always first step, aided language input. Use the words and symbols consistently throughout the week, starting with day 1, during daily activities and routines. A very partial list is provided for each set of 4 words, suggesting activities and contexts in which you might use the words. Look at your routine activities, see where the words fit in easily. For example, during snack time, you can point out what I have, what you have, what he puts it there, where is it. All of these included core words. Each week, while you focus on the 4 words for that week, you can also include words from previous week to make more word combinations, provide continued practice, and reinforcement of those words. Thus, the example becomes, put it here. As you teach more core words, the range of phrases increases dramatically as you create different word combinations. Continue to focus on input at 1 step above your student's level, thus using 1 to 2 picture utterances. Stay at the aided input level for as long as your students need without requiring use. Each week, you get a small book to read with the students on day 2 of the week that uses those words. When possible, you can also act out the statements in the book in real time, giving a context with real objects and people. We have, look, this is mine. The books are interactive, the symbols are all provided, and students get additional reinforcement of the core words by placing them in the book where it's appropriate. For those of you familiar with my 6 core words books, this now provides books that you can use to teach all 40 core words at once. I'm sorry, you're not going to teach them at once, but you get all the books at once. Anyway, when you read the text, provide a model with the symbols on the core word communication board provided or on the larger cards in a group of 4 for the week. Pause. Provide the least prompt needed for the student to imitate the model or place the loose Velcroed symbols onto the book. Use the second copy of the symbol page immediately following the book. Cut them out, laminate after you've laminated them, Velcro them, and then you always have them. For day 3, there's an environment hunt, sort of a hide and seek for examples of the symbols. If possible, print out the small symbols on sticky back or sticker paper. Otherwise, you can just use tape. For example, begin by placing the I sticker on yourself. Place the it sticker on any object in the room. Place the you sticker on the student. Continue around the room with students placing the I sticker on themselves and other stickers appropriately. There are more copies of the it symbol than the others for obvious reasons. Make sure students place it only on objects and not on people. It happens. In other weeks, it may take more modeling for the students to put the stickers in the environment. Want and need may not always be distinguished, and that's okay for now. Is and are may require some additional pictures, not to mention additional teaching. For day 4, there will be a suggested game, toy, or activity for practicing the words in context. For day 5, there will be another game or activity that provides decontextualized reinforcement or practice of the words, such as a board or card game. For example, in week 5, we have the game, Who is the Helper? Students take turns using the game boards, cards, and spinner, and in this game, it's the other students who have to follow the directions given by the student who uses the symbol cards that go with the game to follow the directions. For other weeks, there are tic-tac-toe games and bingo game boards and other ways of providing decontextualized practice. All in all, I think my 10 weeks to communicating with 40 core words provides enough activities for a good long year. And if it takes all year to teach those 40 words, which it will for some students, that's okay. They're learning, you're teaching, and they'll be able to communicate. I'm Susan Berkowitz. I've been a speech and language pathologist for almost 40 years. The orange tabby you have seen wandering throughout the video, that's Dr. Schrodinger, and he's my office helper. It's good to have good help. Thank you, Enjoy hunting through my TPT store for more augmentative communication resources.